Hi Virgo, welcome to Cicalia Botanicals. This is Lena with your April 2020 Tarot Horoscope reading. So I went ahead and laid out all of your cards for the reading already. I did pick two theme cards for your overall energy for the month of April 2020. One was from the Divine Feminine Oracle deck, and that was Innana, the Queen of Heaven and Earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. And from the Deviant Moon Tarot deck, the Sun. So these two are your overarching energies for the month of April 2020 for you, Virgo. I'm going to go ahead and read from the Oracle book about Innana, the Queen of Heaven and Earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am, who she is. Innana represents the power that comes back to us when we accept and integrate our shadow. Innana was the most prominent female deity in ancient Mesopotamia. At the height of her worship, around the Urk period of 4000 to 2000 BCE, temples and shrines dedicated to Innana lined the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Her name is Sumerian for Lady of Heaven. Her temples housed her priestesses, and they each would take a man to bed with them on the spring equinox to reenact the divine marriage, or Eros Gamos, between Innana and her consort Dumuzi. The Eros Gamos is an ancient ritual of uniting the opposites from within, the male and the female, the light and the dark, and most especially heaven and earth. This theme occurs in accounts of Innana's descent into the underworld to find her sister, Ereshkigal. She must take off an article of clothing at each of the 7 gates, so that when she finally reaches her sister, she is naked. And when Innana ascends, she does so with Ereshkigal's power. When your soul selects her card, Innana goes into the depths of her own unconsciousness to merge with her twin sister self. She becomes more powerful because she is no longer using conscious psychic energy to keep her shadow or negative attributes hidden deep underground. She courageously descends and faces the aspects of herself that are hard to get to when she's fully dressed or cloaked heavily in the ego. Innana is an invitation to get naked. She wants us to drop our defenses. She wants us to see how holy and sacred it is to be vulnerable. As above, so below. This is an alchemical adage that suggests heaven and earth are not so separate. It suggests that within us, deep down in the dark cages where we place parts of ourselves, the truths that exist there also exist right here on the surface of our everyday lives. So if we are exerting great amounts of energy to keep from seeing our shadow, it is actually playing a large role in our conscious life. When we can face what we think is dark or negative about us, really embrace it and see it for what it is, a beautiful broken place that's a call for love, then we can emerge more whole. We can marry the light and the dark aspects of our being, and in uniting with our twin sister from the depths, we can stop projecting her onto other women. We can see and own the hot mess we often are, and not get sabotaged by it. The light must cast a shadow, and the high priestess is the one who gets to call to love them both. Soul voice meditation. Can I love my shadow as much as my light? Intention, I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. So this actually really goes on par with what's happening at the end of the month with Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn, where it is going to stay until October 4th. We'll talk about that briefly in a second here. So the interesting aspect is Innana is going into the underworld, and then you have the other energy, the sun energy. So the two polarities here in terms of your theme for the month of April. So this is definitely going to be a big month, I think, for you, Virgo. a lot of personal work to be done here, but also a lot of successes. And honestly, there is some transitional stuff going on here that I see in front of me that will affect you long term, for the better. Taking a look at our astrological events happening in April of 2020 that are affecting everybody. On April 3rd, we have Venus entering Gemini. So Venus is the planet of love, of friendship, of beauty. And Gemini is an air sign, so it's very intellectual, lots of thinking, like very rapid thoughts, but also very social and chatty sign. So I see this as potentially like a lot of people getting more cabin fever around this time and wanting to be more social and get out a little bit more curious about what their friends are up to, reaching out to people more, doing more research about ideas, reading more books, sharing ideas, sharing book recommendations. On April 7th, we have the full moon moving into, the full moon in Libra. Libra energy, full moon energy, is more balancing energy. It's an air energy, so less emotive. It should be anyways, a little bit more peaceful and harmonious energy. People more prone to compromise, to meeting halfway, to seeing things more empathetically, from another person's point of view, and then just really wanting to spend more time with your significant other or people you care about, your close friends and family. On April 19th, the sun moves into Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign like you, Virgo. So you'll probably feel a little bit more comfy here, more of that nesting energy, making the home a little bit more cozy, getting more cozy at home. Be careful of the stubbornness that could come out, and be careful of the potential to be a little bit more on the lazy side. You will find that physical exercise will benefit you greatly at this time. Your energies will be more directed towards the physical, and less towards the spiritual, definitely more towards the practical. On April 22nd, we have the new moon in Taurus, where this new moon energy is going to be feeling a little bit more romantic, more sentimental. Be careful, though, it could have some possessive vibes, some jealous vibes. But for the most part, I think you're going to see more of a sense of loyalty, or at least if that was existing, it being communicated or felt more. April 25th. Okay, so what I was saying, with Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn, going retrograde until October 4th. So Pluto retrograde is shadow work time. So as we were talking about with Innana here, doing the undigging and confronting our own personal demons. I was just watching something, and I forget the Buddhist monk's name. It's a female monk. Look it up on YouTube about feeding your demons. This is a good time to do that work, where you acknowledge and address your own personal demons, so that you can grow, be a better person, and more evolved and enlightened being. With this energy being in Capricorn, this is going to involve areas of authority, of work, of finances, of career, most predominantly, paternal energies, the patriarchy, definitely issues with power struggles. But this is also a very good time to work with your intuition. It'll come to you more easily, or for most people it will. Use this time to really fully develop it more, or communicate, to learn how your own intuition works for you, so that you can continue to use this in your life. And if you've already got a strong connection, you will probably feel it becoming even deeper at this time. So pay attention, be open-minded too about how that can happen for you. And then on April 27th, we have Mercury moving into Taurus. Mercury being the planet of communication, travel, and technology. So Taurus is an earth sign like you, so this might really not, I think, affect you as much as some of the other signs. But I think as a whole, what we will see is that decisions to make things happen will slow down. Progress is going to slow down. Things are going to get really about the practical. My feeling is that some of this whole like May 1st things reopening again, it's actually going to still be pushed back to more like probably later. I don't want to actually really say a date, but I think at least it happening in steps. It's not going to be like everything opening up to normal again right away on May 1st. With this energy, I don't see it happening, especially in forms of communication, technology, and travel. So be patient. Be patient with yourself and the world around you. What I see for you, so what I also want to say for your theme with the sun, I feel this month though that you will be feeling like you have a purpose, you're feeling, or you have your partner, or you're like there is some aspect of your life that you're feeling really solid about, and that's really important. And to cherish that and appreciate that and hold on to that in any time that does get rough, especially when dealing with any sort of shadow work. Okay? So starting off this month, we have the Ace of Pentacles energy. So I do see that maybe at the beginning of this month of April, you do still feel like you have a foundation, more so I think than maybe other signs. And it could just be like a foundation even of yourself, like you know that you have what it takes to do whatever you need to do to get through any and all of this. Being an earth sign, feeling like you've got a handle on this. I don't see, I mean, I see how some anxiety and fears can and would affect you, but I still see you as being actually really rather grounded and centered. However, what is crossing you is the moon, so like this sense of not knowing. So the moon is a card of mystery, and it's this idea, right, that we don't actually know what's going on the dark side of the moon. So there's still information yet to be known. So you're on pause, you're waiting to hear more about what are we going to know, what else do I need to know, like almost all of us. So you're in the same boat, right, Virgo? So what's behind you is I have the Three of Pentacles. You're working to build something with others. So you do have something going on that you're not alone in. You do have had help with to get to where you are now, to have this little foundation. So remember that you weren't alone. You probably still aren't alone, okay? Top of your mind, Strength card. And I see this as you knowing your own strength and your own courage, and being reminded of that on the daily, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. In your subconscious, the Four of Pentacles. So there is a little bit, though, of like deep down some scarcity, mindset energy, some fears, some tendency to hoard on a subconscious level. Like you might be doing it and not even really know that you're doing it. Buying extra of stuff and telling yourself, though, like, I'm not hoarding. I'm not like one of those crazy people buying all the toilet paper. But there's aspects of like you are putting yourself on reserve in some ways. It could just be on like an emotional reserve, like you're shutting aspects of self down just to handle all of this. The Eight of Cups is in your near future. So for me, this Eight of Cups, though, is like going deeper within, which really parallels with the Innana theme card this month. So you going within, letting go of some stuff, probably some, honestly, some control issues, some perfection stuff, things being good enough or enough. And going within, or even just being like, I'm not waiting on them to figure this out. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to do it. I see that as an energy for you this month, Virgo, and I see that you have what it takes to do it. Your advice card, King of Cups. Virgo, you are usually a very, I think, while maybe difficult to please or difficult in some aspects of life, stubborn, whatever, you're very giving. And I see that this is a place of like your advice being to give when and where that you can, but also to have gratitude for all that you have, to feel grateful in the moment, be present in the moment, and feel all the joy and love that you already have in your heart and in your being. I see this as be the King of Cups. Feel that love, okay? And you can't help the Tower. You can't help all the craziness that's going on in the world and all the things that are coming down and not working, and you just can't control any of that, no matter what you do. So you need to let that go. Hopes and fears. I think your hope's the Justice card, and I think your hope is that you will be provided for, that you will have everything that you need, that your loved ones will have everything that they need, and all will be taken care of, and that when all is said and done, when we come through the other side of these strange times, that your efforts won't go unnoticed. I see that. And because you're putting in the efforts, you definitely are. And ultimately, though, at the end of the month, I do the Nine of Pentacles. That is a good card. And right now, in terms of like having financial concerns or anxieties, the Nine of Pentacles usually means financial independence. It can mean business ownership, working for oneself a lot of the times. But I see that as, yes, your efforts do get noticed, and you are taken care of in the ways at least that you need. I think for Virgo, for you this month, it's more of a mental game, more of a mental thing for you. And staying present. But honestly, some of the signs this month have been a little bit more complicated, and all of the signs have been dealing with some sort of financial component, security component. But for you, I see yours as you really getting to discover your own strength and power, and having faith in that, and how far that has taken you and will take you, but also remembering that you aren't alone, that there have been others that have helped you, and that there are those that you can help. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I do hope that this in some way helps you this month, Virgo. I do these videos because I want to help people. I want to take my 20 years of experience with tarot and the lessons and the gifts that I have learned and received to help you and others. So I wish you so much health and wealth and happiness, and thank you for joining me, Virgo.